The Padres lowballed Manny Machado. We'll talk about that on this episode of Padres Talking Padres. All right, everybody, let's calm down. 2023 as a season is still really exciting. But Jack, the Padres world has been torn asunder with the news.
Yeah, I'm no longer a fan.
That Manny Machado.
After being a fan from 1969 to today, I said no, I'm done. I can't do it anymore.
So it's been an interesting few days here in the Padres world. A couple days ago, Manny Machado confirmed what should have been. I mean, I think everyone expected that he was going to opt out. He would be stupid.
And people on Twitter lost their crap over it. I mean,
yeah,
it's just like,
and honestly, the episode title for this was first going to be like, "Everyone relax." But an article posted today by Kevin Acee of the San Diego Union Tribune
that's still around.
Yes, it's still around. But not only, has Manny confirmed he's going to opt out, but apparently, in talks with the Padres front office, he gave them a deadline for conversations about an extension, which was February 16th, which was only a couple days ago. And also confirmed that they did send an offer, but only one offer this Tuesday. The thing that wasn't confirmed by Manny Machado is that offer was an additional 5 years to his currently sitting 6 years for $105 million, bringing that total contract to $285 for 11 years. I think bringing his AAV down to $25 million a year. And like kind of the all in, if you include the original contract, I think it's like $405 million or something.
Which is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, but when you look at just the extra $105 million, the internets, the world of armchair quarterbacks, if you will, on this situation, are kind of thinking like, was that a low ball? I'm seeing posts on Bleacher Report and stuff like that. It's like, they lowballed Manny, eyeball emoji, looking to the side. But Jack, walk me through this. What was your take when you first heard that, the offer that the Padres gave, their first offer and their only offer before this deadline set by Manny Machado, was an additional $105 million?
Isn't it funny that $105 million, we can say, man, they're lowballing him. That's just crazy. But today I was driving home from your house. We had a little birthday party for Alex, and I was driving home, and we see the Mega Millions is at $105 million.
Yeah.
And my wife goes, "You want to play it?" I go, "Yeah, let it go up a little bit." I'm dead serious. I go, I don't feel like pulling over for $105 million.
So if it's not enough for you to even buy a lottery ticket, I mean, how is that?
I know.
Manny Machado.
I just think, I don't know if it's 100% true that was the offer. I got to believe. First, I'm not letting anything spoil. This is the best team the Padres on paper have ever had going into this season.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, you have 4 big name stars. You have a lot of good young players around them. Decent pitch. They've loaded up on the pitching, where the pitching is, maybe not the best in the league, but doesn't have to be. Bullpen looks like it's going to be one of the top 3 bullpens in baseball. I'm not going to let this ruin my season.
Yep.
I'm going to enjoy the season. Hopefully they win it all, but I want to enjoy the season. And it's like, I saw people on Twitter going, "Oh my God, can't we just have nice things?" I go, "Well, we have nice things."
Yes.
And literally, that was what people were saying. I go, "We have nice things." I mean, I think it comes down to, I was talking to you today about someone going for a job and going outside the job. And so, if you're happy at a place, I think I would take a little less. Now I'm saying Manny deserves more because they offered Trey Turner $360 million. They offered Aaron Judge $440 million.
That's the logic of it, right? Because that's that I think is the whole crux of the situation, right?
Right.
You can't really ask for a hometown discount,
right?
When You offered Judge 440, Trey Turner
Mhm,
for 342, and
mhm.
Bogarts, who again, great, like you said, star baseball player. But you look at the numbers, Manny is done significantly
Oh,
better,
yeah.
and he's literally carried the team on his back.
They don't again, we've said it before, they don't go as far as they did last season without Manny Machado.
And
They just don't.
compare the two contracts, they'd offer Manny $5 million more. And so that's where if I'm Manny, I kind of feel a little bit slight, like all of that, and you think I'm only 5 million. And again, I understand the idea is like, well, they're all millionaires, so why do I care? But still, it's just Manny
But
deserves more than that.
they all have egos. And
Sure.
also remember the Players Association pressures these guys to make it as much. And why do you think the contracts are released? Why? I mean, I wouldn't want anybody knowing what I make,
Sure.
especially if I was making millions. I wouldn't want people knowing that. Nobody really
Well,
has the right. But
the tide rises all the other boats, right? There's cheap teams like the Pirates and stuff like that that would pay their players $1 if they could, and
well,
it's
that
the big name contracts lift up all the other contracts, right?
Brian Reynolds, they offered him. You talk about lowball.
Yeah,
They offered him like 60 million for like 5 years, and you're
yeah,
like going, okay, that's. I mean, again, someone offered me that, sure, I'm going to take it, but
hmm
I'm not at that caliber.
yeah,
And people on Twitter and everything, well, how much money do you need? You got to remember, this is monopoly money. This
yeah,
this is a different world. Like actors and entertainers, singers, it's not the same as our
yeah,
world.
exactly.
So, he's I get it. He's like,
Not
okay,
only that, but he's a talent. He has a talent, but really he only has a certain window of time in which he's going to be able to make this kind of money, right? He's got to
right.
make it as much as he can while he can. And people have been throwing around Tony Gwynn's name a lot, and I understand that. I a diehard Tony Gwynn fan, and if he didn't take steep discounts to stay in San Diego, he had every right to leave and go make money somewhere else and be in a World Series contender somewhere else, but he chose to stay. But this is the other
And
side
and
of
and
that.
and he took heat for that. He said, "Oh,
Yeah.
he just does, he just wants to play at home, and he doesn't want to go to a winner. He doesn't care about winning. He just cares about personal stats because he chose to stay with the Padres."
But the thing that, fans, I think, one, they appreciate that, right? He's like a saint in the town of San
Oh
Diego, right? In
yeah,
the city of San Diego. But the thing is, like, when he passed, things weren't great financially for his wife, right? I think they had to sell
no,
a house. They had to sell a bunch of his, like his championship rings, a bunch of his, like I think his 3,000 hit ball just to raise money to make ends meet. And so that's where it's like, you champion Tony Gwynn for taking those discounts, but look at where it left his family later. This, like, for any of these players that come from, I think Manny, like, this is a chance to like change. This is generational wealth to change things for his family for
right.
generations, right? And don't tell me any person here, if you did the hard work and you put yourself out there and had the talent, that you wouldn't want to make that money.
Yeah, it again, it comes down to, I mean, you gave Tatis, who has not done. Let's
Hasn't been on
face
the
it,
field.
he hasn't been on the field. He's had trouble staying on the field. I mean,
Yeah,
I love me some Fernando Tatis, but look what
same.
he did last year. He pissed away a whole year,
Yeah.
yet he got a $340 million contract.
Yep.
Now, if I'm Manny Machado, I sprain my ankle, get a high ankle sprain, and I'm back playing seven,
hmm
8 games later.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm not saying, Fernando shouldn't have got the money.
Sure.
But if I'm Manny, I'm like going, okay, you want me to be the team captain, you want me to be the leader.
Yeah.
You gotta up the pay.
Yeah.
Again, he wants to win. I think he loves playing in San Diego. He's a
Yep.
hero here.
Yeah.
If he retires here, there'll probably be a statue of him
Yep.
outside because he'll probably have 3,000 hits. He'll
Yep.
probably have
Could have
he
500 home runs. He could be
if
3,500.
if he continues on his way he's playing, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And that most of that would have been done in San Diego. So
Mhm.
again, I don't want to see him leave.
Yeah.
I mean, I would hate to see him leave,
Yeah.
but he's got to do what he has to do, and I can't be upset if the Padres. I can't believe the Padres would screw this up.
Mhm.
They've been so smart the last 2 or
Yeah.
3. I mean, even they just said, they look what they ate on Eric Hosmer's contract just to
Yeah.
get rid of him.
Yeah.
What, 35 million, $40 million
Mhm.
dollars? They still had to pay it.
Yeah.
They
They're
said,
still
yeah,
paying
yeah, still paying. It's like, he's playing for the Cubs now. It's like, we're paying that salary. And so if they're willing to eat that, and again, I know it doesn't go against the cap, all that different, not the cap, but all the different stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't, because you've released him, but you
Sure.
still that's money coming out of the owner's pocket.
That
The
still hits
bottom
the
line.
cap. That still hits our cap.
Yeah. So, um,
But here's my counter to this. One, it's Kevin Acee.
yeah,
And he did similar articles like this with Musgrove. Remember last season? It's like, oh, they lowballed them, blah, 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 blah. Musgrove's still signing an extension. Right?
yeah.
So I think there's a lot of
Well, he also said before the season started, the Padres only have $25 million to spend.
yeah.
Well, they spent more on that on Bogarts and
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
everybody else. So yeah.
So I think take it with a grain of salt. There is an element of, it's good TV, but is it actually, the most accurate representation of things?
Who knows? And who knows what's going behind the scenes? Because the Union Tribune. I was joking, are they still around? Because there's only one major sport in San Diego, and
Mhm.
that's baseball. You don't have the NFL anymore, even though they
Yeah.
still cover the Chargers. I can't imagine subscription.
I think
don't know what
because I listened to their podcast Hot Stove. Most of even though they still do Chargers articles, nobody really reads them, or at
no,
least
because
as much as they used.
I mean, I know people still pay. Some people still pay attention to chart, but it's not the
Sure.
same as when they were
Yeah.
in San Diego. The Aztecs, it's the basketball team. I'm sure
Yeah.
brings in more talk than the football team.
Padres is the main driver here, right?
Yeah, Padres are the main drive. So, do you have to kind of bring things up to get people going? What happened? Oh, I'm gonna have to. I have to pay for this to read this. And so are people? Is it just done? Clickbait, whatever you kids call it today.
It is. I mean, it all just depends on how accurate it is, right? Like Manny confirmed most of the things here in this article, right?
He
I think,
didn't.
like,
He didn't
confirm most
confirm
of
the
it.
amount, though.
Yes, he said, you write what you want to write. I'm not going to talk about that. So I think take that with a grain of salt. But clearly, in that interview, or at least when he says he's going to opt out, you could tell there's a little. It wasn't that. Of course, I'd love to stay here. We'll see what happens. It's contracts. I'll let my agent in the front office talk about it. That conversation seemed a little bit more like, man, it's in their balls in their court. They can, figure it out. So it did seem a little more. So, the things that he did confirm here do show that he's a little perturbed, which if it was that low, I think he has every right to be. But
now who would have released it? Now I can't imagine the Padres, if they lowballed Manny, would have released what they offered him. So it's either not accurate or Manny's agent released it.
Yeah, probably. Usually the agents will do that, right? Like Boris is notorious for using press.
So the press, because if I'm the Padres, if I've lowballed Manny Machado, who's become a fan favorite, there's no way I release that information. Oh yeah, we lowballed Manny Machado.
Call him the captain. I mean, you even heard Bob Melvin. He's just like, I don't want to think of this team without Manny on it, right?
Yeah.
Like, so
Hugh Darvish said he took the less money so they could re-sign Manny.
He said, hey, it's less AAV, so give that to Manny. Like that.
Yeah,
that's his logic.
Yeah, I mean, he's still got a good contract for his age. I mean, but yeah, I again, it's one of those things, we're talking about it now, but when the season goes on, I'm not stressing about Manny Machado's contract. I'm all about let's enjoy this season.
I think we talked about
how many seasons as a Padre fan have we been really able to enjoy?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we support the team, but then you go, oh my God, they're so bad. Maybe they can bring someone up in the minors. Is that kid ready? The whole exactly right. And we're talking about April.
Yeah.
How many seasons do we go? Oh my God.
Here's my question.
Maybe next year.
Dennis Lin for the Athletic, who covers the Padres, has said there's talks that the Machado camp wants $40 million AAV. So no matter where that contract lands, he wants $40 million. So that's $10 million more than he's getting now. And he may very well be worth that. But from my perspective, if that's it and he won't even budge on that, I'd rather sign long-term Soto or Ohtani. Where do you stand if that is where his asking price is?
Well, what's it going to take to pay Soto? What's it going to take to pay Otani? I mean,
I don't know.
it's, Soto wants 500 million. I mean,
Do that over 15 years. He's only 24.
yeah, but he turned
It's
down a big
easier when
contract.
he's 24 and Machado's 31.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd give Machado's 31. Do you give him 400 million over the next 10 years?
I say just give him another 310-year deal, or if he wants to go to 42, then give him 320, 340 over 12 years or something.
The problem is that at 42, he's not going to be.
No,
I
there's
mean,
only so many Nelly Cruzes, and even he's
yeah,
42 right now, and he didn't play
right.
that great last year.
No, and you had Albert Pujols, who suddenly, I'm not
You got
saying
the magic
baseballs were
balls.
doctored,
Yeah,
but suddenly he just started hitting home runs every time he swung the bat.
you got those Aaron Judge balls.
Yeah, because that's what they said about Aaron Judge, that he was getting. They had different baseballs.
They had doctors like or scientists
Yeah,
testing. Yeah.
yeah. So again,
So okay, where would you go?
but okay, if you're not going to sign, you say, okay, Manny, thanks for everything. You opt out. Thanks. He'll go somewhere and get a huge contract.
Yep.
But but you have to sign Soto.
Yeah.
And you have to get someone like Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to be hard because the Dodgers are setting themselves up to pay him a boatload of money.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dodgers haven't done much as far as contracts this season.
Kind of clearing the books this year, right?
Yeah, clearing the books. I mean, here's a team that makes, $800 million a year, whatever they make.
Yeah.
But they're clearing the books because they want to sign Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ohtani in Los Angeles would make them a boatload of money. But it'd also make the Padres a boatload of money.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, we're
calculus with Ohtani, where yes, you give him a boatload of money, but I think they said like the marketing value to the Japanese market gets you like $40-50 million a year extra.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I know that at some point, this has been fun, but eventually you do reach a point where you can't go out and sign everybody. I mean, I know when Corbin Burns, the Brewers, I don't know what they were thinking with that.
Yeah.
Trashing him over 740,000. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
again, it's a lot of money, but we're talking monopoly money now.
Yeah.
I said, okay, come to the Padres. Come sign with the Padres. Can we trade for him? What do we have left? And I'm like going, but eventually it's going to take, we got Blake Snell.
Yeah.
Who's going to, I mean, what if he has a great year this year?
And he's going to want. There's a feeling that he either stays or he's such a Seattle kid, like he'll probably want to go back to the Mariners. Like he's like it would be like Musgrove coming to the Padres. It'd be like him going to the Mariners would be like his homecoming kind of deal.
And
he
the
lives
problem
in Seattle.
The problem is our young pitching prospects are good, probably 2 years away.
Oh, sure.
So we have to.
You have to sign people, right? Yeah.
You have to sign people. That's why they made trades for, sign Waka and other players they signed to,
Yep.
But yeah, I again, when the season starts, I'm not going to pay attention to Manny's contract. Mm-hmm. I hope they sign him, but if they don't and he goes free agent, then you have Tatis, you got Bogarts, if you have Soto for another year through the 2024 season anyway. So and there's other free agents out there that you can go out and get. But I think the two sides, Seedler loves Manny Machado.
Yep.
And I see them working out a deal.
I
think they're just trying, because you don't want to get to a point too where you have all these big contracts and you're not winning.
Sure.
But
you know what? You get a title. I'll watch old geezer players.
Yeah.
It's like it's still party for the championship team. Yankees did that, right? Like their core four or whatever. They were old as hell, but you'd still watch those games because it was part of that, dynasty or whatever.
Yeah, and like I said, Padres win a World Series. I mean, a city that's never had, since the Chargers in 1963, have never had, other than the San Diego indoor soccer, have never had a championship.
Yeah,
come on,
exactly.
I mean, it's almost like you need to expand the stadium a bit, add some seats to, seriously. I mean, because
just do the Wrigley thing, just get some of those condos and just start putting little seats.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're going to have to need, what's the stadium hold? 43,000, 44,000.
Say that again. I missed that last part.
I mean, what does the stadium hold? 43, 44,000?
Something like that. Yeah.
And you have the park by the park, which is always packed now too. I mean,
Dang, I took me and my 2 boys, and it was like $80 to go to the park in the summer.
was it that much?
Yeah.
It used to be $5.
I know. Now, again, it was literally we had tickets for the game the next day, but our hotel's across the street. We're at the Bayfront. And I was like, let's just go. Let's do Park in the Park. And it was packed. And yes, it's like, how much is $80 for me and my 2 sons, a 4-year-old
to watch it on TV.
Pretty much. But it was fun. It was good to get there and enjoy
I mean, it's a good experience, but it's like, man, I mean, it's not cheap.
My kids just like the sandbox, so they were hanging out in the sandbox anyway the whole time.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So I agree with you, Jack. Don't let this ruin or hamper the season.
No.
And don't turn on Manny on this situation. He has every right to opt out.
Yeah, I mean, I have no. It's not one of those guys that just he's like, we've had players that bash the Padres and bash the city, and I don't want to play here, but even Cole Hamels, who signed.
Yeah, he talked crap about it.
He talked in 2016. He says, "Why would I want to go to a team that has fair weather fans?"
Yeah, it was 2012.
And then he kind of
tweet or whatever.
Yeah, was that what it was? And then his parents said, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
because they're Padre fans, and he was a Padre fan. He goes, "You don't say stupid stuff like that."
Yeah. But Manny hasn't been that. He's been part of the community. He bought a home. He built a home in Coronado, $10 million home. So clearly he likes it there. But also he has every right to maximize his earning potential.
What they should have done is signed him to an extension before free agency started.
Yeah, but
and then what's he gonna say?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he's, but does he get? I mean, I don't live in state. Does he get commercial endorsements? Does he get what kind of I'm sure these players
are really gonna bid. I think it's either he would go back to the Orioles, which would be kind of cool, but they're not going to spend money. But if they did want to spend money, or the Mets,
but they're close. They're close.
Yeah.
I don't think Manny would go to New York. I think it's just it's a rough place to play.
Buck Showalter though.
Yeah, but Buck Showalter, he's really like 90.
That's true.
He's up there, Nate.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up there. Definitely hit the subscribe and bell icon. Spring training is fast approaching, and thus the season is fast approaching as well. We're covering it in every detail we can. So stay tuned to all updates by hitting the subscribe and the bell icon. If you like this video, hit the like button. And until next time, hasta luego. Goodbye.
Arrivederci.